Up awaiting the action, and I can assure you this will be a gripping quarter-final, the first for 1988. As Billy Anderson mentioned, the Campbelltown side have won that cup on 4 occasions. 2 30-minute halves to determine who goes into the first semi-final for 1988. It will be St Gregory's Campbelltown to get this match underway. It's the fullback Russell Wire who moves in, drives the ball down towards the quarter line, and it will be Parramatta to receive. So immediately some very solid defence coming in. There goes Chris Warren darting away from dummy half. Now they move it. That's Morchard, the prop forward. And some solid defence by Cab. Back for Baysari. It goes in turn for the fullback Marnie. He's caught centre field on the quarter line.
That was a very good chase out of marker by St Greg's. They're a very well-drilled side. They realised that the kick, and then the kick option was on, and they nullified it, and they've got Parramatta Marist pinned down in their own quarter now on the last tackle.
There's the kick downfield. Taking it this time will be Paul Wild. Was originally picked in the centres. Fidiki Fallu. Good run up the short line, takes play inside Parramatta's end of the ground. That's Warner that goes into dummy half. It's away to Simon Ward. A man with Commonwealth Bank Cup experience in 87 and back in 88. Taking it upfield is Jason Tierney. Donnelly's in there to wrap him up with Morchard. Bit of indecision. Goes out through Fuller. That's Lovering. Lovering well picked off in the tackle by Tony Unan. Warner. There's the kick from the lock forward, Matthew Fuller. Goes back for Robert Saman. In fact, it's Anthony House out on the left wing for the Parramatta side.
There's no doubt, Dave, this is going to be a tremendous game of football. They're well-schooled sides. Their coaches have put a lot of time and effort into them. The teams play with combination. But there's that sprinkling of talented players right through both sides, and there are some boys here that, well, I think they're good enough for that under-21 competition already.
Well, I would have thought that ball was knocked backwards, but the referee, Chris Ward, has ruled that the knock-on for Baysari. Let's look at it again.
Yes, well, I'm pretty convinced that was a knockback, and Baysari's got one there that went against him, but these things tend to even themselves out. He might get one later that goes his way.
Well, not quite as important as this one, Bill, because it's a Campbelltown put in inside the attacking 22. But a great win against the head by Chris Warren.
We've seen him do that before in their last game here against St Pat's Dundas. Warren won a number of scrums, something like 5 or 6 against the head, and it's ones like that that really do get you out of trouble.
Well, Chris McCaffrey takes the tackle outside his 22, and that's Warren a dummy half. That's for Unan. Unan unloaded the ball. Good 3-man defence again by this Campbelltown side. Doesn't appear to be much breeze down there, Wayne Pearce. Overcast skies. It's probably ideal out there for this quarter-final.
It is ideal conditions, David, down the sideline. Probably 15, 16 degrees, ideal temperature. No wind whatsoever, so it doesn't really matter which way the teams are going to be running this half. There's no advantage whatsoever.
So the scrum feed by Fidiki Fallu, and a little bit of a disturbance in the front row. Moves around again to put the ball in the scrum. The referee's whistle goes, and a penalty goes Campbelltown's way. So this will give them a chance to drive play deep inside that quarter. And it's the second row forward, Matthew Munro, to look for touch on the eastern side of the Parramatta Stadium. The tap restart by Jason Conroy, throwing it in now for the move to be set from set play, and that's a good break upfield by Simon Ward, but met with a wall of defence by Parramatta. Campbelltown on the attack inside the 22. Fidiki Fallu for the second row forward, Munro. Warner quickly goes into dummy half. That's Fidiki Fallu out for Grosvenor. Grosvenor tried to break through the first line, wrapped up by Baysari. Again, they work towards the blind. The switch of play. Oh, and the bad knock on that time by Matt Munro. They appeared to have numbers and line very deep in attack.
Well, they were looking for the return of play here, St Greg's. They had a good line. It was deep and well spread, but Parramatta Marist came up very quickly, put pressure on, and that resulted in a fumble.
So it's going to be Glenn Fitzgerald to work the scrum. Another good quick strike by Warren, and there's a good break by Fitzgerald. Takes play up to the quarter line. Running from dummy half is Peter Marnie. Marnie, of course, missed the match against St Patrick's Dundas here at the stadium a few weeks ago. Running from dummy half is Tony Eunan. He was a player that did impress in that earlier match, Bill.
Yes, you know, it was suggested that if there was a weakness in Parramatta Marist, it was out in their backs. They've got a big, strong set of forwards, but that night I thought their backs played excellently.
There's Russell Wire fielding the ball very nicely just outside his quarter line. Couldn't beat the first line. The tackle affected by Milo Tanos. Finiki Fallu breaking away from dummy half, ran sideways and was wrapped up well and truly with a good solid tackle from Shan. McRae, midway between the half and the quarter line at Campbelltown's end of the ground. That situation's been changed with a good kick downfield by Wire. Back there is Baysari. Couldn't beat Lovering or Paul Wild. And he's wrapped up on the quarter. Saman.
It's a war of attrition at the moment, isn't it? Neither side really being dominant. The hitting of the line is good in attack, but the defence is just as strong, and I don't think there's going to be a struck match between these two sides. It's going to be an unlucky bounce of the ball or an individually brilliant break that's going to be the decider.
The possession of the ball is in the hands of Parramatta at the moment. There's Warren, spotted the gap from dummy half. A good gain of about 8 or 10 metres, but he's well and truly wrapped up in the tackle on the far side. Caffrey, back for Baysari, the kick in general play. All fielded by Conroy. Warner, Finiki Fallu. Well, they gave him plenty of room to move. He was finally taken by Marnie in the tackle. Interesting ploy where when Campbelltown are in possession of the ball, we notice that generally Baysari plays in that second line of defence, Bill.
Yes, he's, I think, a very good reader of play, and he's able to marshal his troops and put them in the right position.
So players inside Parramatta's end of the ground. It's Warner at dummy half. It goes out through Lovering. Lovering propped, came back infield, got the pass away again. But it's McCaffrey over there to wrap him up in the tackle. And the penalty, another one going Campbelltown's way.
Something they're going to have to watch. The penalties just seem to be going somewhat against Parramatta at the moment. You can see here that there's a hole down in the play of the ball. The rule says you've got to get up immediately and directly, and that wasn't done.
Munro again takes play inside the quarter line at Parramatta's end of the ground. We've had 7 minutes of play gone first half. No signs of any chinks in the armour so far, Wayne Pearce.
No, David, very methodical at the moment, and I think that's a sign of the higher standard of football as we come into the money end of the competition. They're playing very safe football at the moment, and that's the way I suppose it should be played at this stage.
Munro, 11 metres short of the try line. Warner directing play from dummy half and taking it up as the prop forward Tierney. He's to his feet, 5 metres short of the try line. Finiki Fallu, the pass out through Grosvenor. Grosvenor saw the gap, got the pass away this time for Keenan, but the defence is there of Milo Tanos. Lovering from dummy half throws the long pass. Finiki Fallu, that's for his captain Fuller. Finally with Finiki Fallu, the ball's got loose on the ground. The referee will have no option there but to rule the knock on each way, and that's where we'll see the scrum go down. 0-0 in the first quarter final of the Commonwealth Bank Cup here at the Parramatta Stadium. Well, there's one back against the head, and what a vital one that was, because it's put them right on the attack. That's Keenan. Again, the defence is stretched by Parramatta. Wild goes to dummy half. There's a chance. Oh, it's thrown back infield, picked up by the captain, Fuller. Fuller out for Keenan for Finiki Fallu, and he's driven backwards in the tackle. Warner, a dummy half.
Got a good deep line here with extras.
There's Fuller, took the wrong option, was wrapped up in the tackle by Fitzgerald. Warner, Grosvenor for Munro, back for Warner, in turn for Munro. That's Lovering. Lovering stepped back off the right foot. He had numbers on the outside, and they've lost possession.
That was just what Parramatta Marist needed. They were in all sorts of trouble there. They had St Greg's side had held the ball for some 12 tackles. Pressure was mounting, but the drop ball and the consequent wrap-up means that they can breathe a little easier.
There's Morchard, the big prop forward. Centre of the quarter line. Play has been camped down the northern end of the ground right through the first 9 minutes of this first half. So territorially it's been all St Gregory's Campbelltown. And the kicking game of this man, Baysari, hasn't been all that dominant as it was against St Patrick's Dundas. Back for Wire. He's impressed me so far for a young fellow with a great pair of hands. He's a strong runner too. He took the play to the halfway line, bumped out of the first tackle but went to ground. Kanika Fallu now. Got it away to the prop forward, McRae. Move the far side again, Fuller. One of the Campbelltown players has blood gushing from his head as Munro kicks in general play. It's rolling end on end. Coming across as Marnie. Slid on his knees and brought it under control very, very well indeed. Bumping it upfield is the lock forward, Chris McCaffrey. And it appears only probably a shattered nose. I think with the quarter-final being played in a semi-final at stake, it'll take a little bit more than that to keep him off the field, Bill.
Wouldn't get him off with wild horses.
In fact, it's the big prop forward, Jason Tierney, receiving attention. He appears to be okay, Wayne?
Yes, he does, David, but it could be the end of his modelling career. That's the only problem.
At least he's got underway, Wayne. Take the tap restart a metre short of halfway. The only thing Pearcey could model, Bill, would be shoes, wouldn't it?
Just hope no one gets their hair pulled.
So Parramatta building it up towards halfway. Still no score. 10 minutes gone, first half of this quarter-final. Fitzgerald. A good stepping run by young Fitzgerald. Takes play beyond the halfway line. Peter Marnie working towards the commentary side of the Parramatta Stadium. Morchard stood in the tackle and tried to unload. Well, he read that well and he's made a valuable 10 or 15 metres. And this is the first time we've seen Parramatta in an attacking situation. Now the switch of play. That's Donnelly. Will work this short side well and takes on the defence and takes play to within about 8 metres short of the try line. He stayed in the field of play. There's Baysari high in the air. That's put pressure on Campbelltown. Up they go and beautifully taken by Russell Wire. Gee, that was confident stuff, Bill.
Oh, look, this is as good a take at the high ball as you'd ever want to see. It's shades of Warwick Capper. He was back in the in goal, got a bit of a run at the ball, and that's the way to attack it. Went up high, showed no caution or worry about personal safety.
Well, you wouldn't believe it. He has got an Australian rules background, this young fellow, and that really came to the fore then and saved the day for Campbelltown. And now for the first time they're inside their own quarter line. Another Campbelltown player receiving attention as Jason Conroy makes play. Same fellow, he's struggling a little bit, Jason Tierney. It'll be a cruel blow for the Campbelltown side if he's forced off the field. Well, how did that ball, I was going to say how did it stay in the field of play? It didn't. And that's really put Campbelltown back on the attack. This is a superb kick. It just hugs the touchline.
It sure is a good kick, and these are good tactics against a very big side that St Greg's are trying to turn Parramatta Marist around, keep them camped in their own territory and make them have to grind the ball upfield.
And Anthony House was left with two minds whether to try and pick that ball up. If he touched it, it would have given the feed to Campbelltown, but Campbelltown have come up with it anyway. It goes out through Lovering, the centre with the headgear. He's taken in centre field. Good defence again by Parramatta. Baysari has stolen the ball and that could cost them 2 points. David Baysari, the man penalised.
They're in a desperate situation here. Baysari decided he'd go in and try and pull the ball out. He knew they were under a lot of pressure. Chris Ward obviously had called held, and that's incurred a penalty.
Well, Russell Wire, the young fellow that saved the day by fielding that towering bomb from Baysari at the other end of the ground. Just a minute or so later has the opportunity now of posting first points on the board for St Gregory's Campbelltown. Well, to reach the quarter-final here tonight, this side from out west has beaten Gaimea High, Belmore Boys and Cronulla de la Salle last Wednesday. 4 times have been cup champions, their last in 1986. Were defeated by Keebra Park High from Queensland in the semi-final last year. Russell Wire has the ball placed just outside the quarter line, right in the centre of the ground. He moves in, he struck it very well indeed, but it's gone away to the right, no goal. So that is a let-off for Parramatta. Still no score, and we've had 14 minutes of play in the first half. So 0 all the scoreline, and I would say that attempted penalty from just outside the quarter line, Wayne, would have been the confidence that was really required, particularly when we see an unforced error like that. That really is an added bonus for Parramatta.
It is, David, and one of the things that has let Parramatta down tonight has been their kicking game. They've been put under a bit of pressure from St Gregory's, which they didn't receive from St Patrick's the last time we saw them play. And David Baysari's been in a little bit of problem. He hasn't had any options as far as other kickers go.
Well, there's Baysari trying to bump through the tackle. Lovering came at him from over the top. McCaffrey. That's Fitzgerald. Diving tackle from the prop forward Tierney. He seems to have recovered once again from that nose injury. Baysari, and that's Donnelly. Well, Baysari and Donnelly are two players that really stood out in that earlier qualifying match. Didn't really come into it today as yet, but this game still has a long way to go. There's Marnie, unloaded the pass to Unan.
They've been pretty heavily marked, haven't they? Obviously, the St Gregory's boys would know that they're the two danger players in attack, and they'd be putting double coverage on them.
Well, there's another error on the Parramatta side on their fourth tackle in that set of 6. And a chance now for St Gregory's Campbelltown to win back possession just outside their own 22. They have the scrum feed. Fuller's the one that's working the scrum. It appears that Finikipaloo is packing down at lock forward. It's Baysari. Oh, good solid tackle from Tierney over the top. Warren elects to use the blind side. Oh, that pass looked forward to Donnelly. It wasn't detected by referee Chris Ward. And Parramatta still in possession. House plays the ball. McCaffrey. Here goes Morchard charging upfield, but good defence by Matt Munro. Baysari, the attempted drop goal. And the first points on the board in this quarter-final. The drop goal by David Baysari gives the scoreline the look of a soccer match here at the Parramatta Stadium. It's 1-0 through the trusty right boot of David Baysari. There it is, 1-0, Parramatta Marist in the lead. The band strikes up, but not a lot to cheer about as far as Campbelltown are concerned, because that drop goal, as we welcome you back to the Parramatta Stadium by young David Baysari, has broken the deadlock. And I think from memory, Bill, he dropped a field goal in similar circumstance against Dundas.
Yes, when the game was fairly close, I think early in the second half, he did that and gave them that extra one-point cushion that they needed. And I think it's a good tactic to kick a field goal in what's obviously going to be a tight game. When a game is close near the end, the opposition's alerted to it. It's very difficult to kick a one-pointer, but when they're a little bit more relaxed and not expecting it, you can do with it.
So it's 1-0. Anthony Morchard takes the tackle. That's Warren, back for Baysari. Long kick downfield. The bounce doesn't favour Russell Wire, but very intelligently he waits for the correct bounce and picks the ball up and comes to the lock forward McCaffrey before he's wrapped up with the assistance of Fitzgerald. Simon Lovering running from dummy half. Ooh, nearly broke that first line. There's the intercept by Unan. Claimed by Warner in the tackle. So Parramatta back on attack. Oh, that's a good break by Marnie, a half break. Finally picked off in the tackle by McRae. Parramatta now looking dangerous. There's Warren. Got the pass for Unan. He's inside the quarter line, but a beautiful tackle. Baysari from dummy half. McCaffrey. Morchard. Oh, he's driven back. Probably the biggest man out there today. Driven back unmercifully by that solid Campbelltown defence. Baysari, gee, they're marking him today. Wrapped up by Ward and driven back in defence. They certainly have read this play well in defence, Campbelltown. They've put pressure on the two danger men, as Bill mentioned. Donnelly, the second rower, and Baysari at 5'8", but this time it's Tanos that finds touch inside the attacking 22. So the scrum feed by Fuller. Away he goes from the back of the scrum, met by his opposite number, McCaffrey. I just wonder what they're losing from around that scrum base, Wayne Pearce, because we saw last year Finikipaloo was a very dangerous player from around the back of the scrum. We see him packing down at lock forward in this first half.
Certainly would make a difference, and I think that the organisation-wise too, they're missing a little bit out there, because both sides appear to have no real patterns of attack at this early stage of the match. In fact, the only organisation I can see from either side is Chris Warren directing a lot of play from dummy half.
Well, there's Donnelly coming in for his chop in defence. Also in there is Morchard. Warner, it goes back for Russell Wire. There's the kick downfield. That's a great looking kick too. Straight down the middle of the ground. It's fielded by Peter Marnie. Tried to bump through the first one, but coming over the top was Keenan. Shan. Keenan went underneath. McRae went over the top. It's the lock forward McCaffrey. In fact, that was Shan. It was McCaffrey that was wrapped up earlier. It's Morchard. So far, no real clean breaks in this game. 1-0 the scoreline. Through the field goal from that man in picture, David Baysari, and this time he finds touch. And that's more like the form we saw in the previous match, Bill.
Yes, he just got that one in behind the defensive line. It was about a 35 to 40 metre gain, and they'll be looking to win another scrum against their head here.
So Fuller with the scrum fee. The push is on by Parramatta, and in fact, they've come up with the penalty, forcing Campbelltown to collapse the scrum. Warner acknowledges that. And a chance now for Baysari to really put the pressure on Campbelltown. This next set of 6 very important into the final 10 minutes of this first half. And the Parramatta, who haven't enjoyed the territorial advantage of this first half, see if they can capitalise inside the 22.
Well, this is one of those sets of circumstances when you try something that you've worked on for a long time at training. It might be probably a set move on the first, second or third tackle. You'll find that they'll try and put themselves into position, then use guys like their big second rower Brian Donnelly on a set play.
Saman, watch for Donnelly. Will he hit it down the blind side or on the open? Here's the wrap. Here comes Donnelly, the dummy throw-in. Fitzgerald taken in the tackle. Warren searching from dummy half. But that defence is there again of Campbelltown. Fitzgerald, Baysari, who was left alone. He made it up to about 2 metres short of the try line. Here's the final tackle. McCaffrey through the dummy. And that's the first turnover of the first half.
Well, the defence there was equal to the attack, wasn't it? I thought St Greg showed a lot of discipline. They moved up quickly. They moved up as a line. And when any of the Parramatta Marist players took them on, they made sure of their tackle.
Donnelly coming over the top with Morchard. So Campbelltown camped 10 metres out from their own goal line. They trail by the solitary point. Scott Warner. Dummy half, Finikifalou. Oh, there's a good break. That's the first break of the first half. Finikifalou up towards halfway. That pass went forward. Referee Chris Ward right on the spot. And a correct decision will bring play back to just short of halfway.
It's amazing the number of times that these little breaks are made as half-time approaches. There was a great break by Finikifalou, threw it back inside to his lock and captain Fuller, but it was obviously a forward pass and Chris Ward in good position for it.
So it's Fitzgerald. Come around to work the scrum in Campbelltown's end of the ground. Only just inside their half. Baysari stood in the tackle. Still got the ball away again for Fitzgerald. Unan. But he's driven back by Keenan. Keenan was a late selection in the side. He'd been troubled all week with a knee injury, but got the doctor's clearance just about 10 minutes before the start of the match. Warren. Fitzgerald. That's Trout. Warren again spotted the gap from dummy half. McRae came in to effect the tackle with the assistance of Michael Grosvenor, the 5'8". Switch of play. Long pass. Tanos kicks inside the quarter. He had the unmarked house on the outside. Will it pay off? The ball's still in the in goal, but it goes dead in goal. And play will come back to the quarter line. Did he take the right option, Billy?
Well, it's easy to look back in hindsight, isn't it? But I thought at the time that he should have made the pass to House. House had no one to beat the kick ahead. Unfortunately, the bounce didn't favour him. Had they been a little bit luckier, well, maybe they'd have come up with a try anyhow. So
Campbelltown breathed that sigh of relief. We've seen now 2 smart breaks.
both within the space of 30 seconds as we get near this half-time break.
6 minutes short of half-time. The only score we've seen was a drop goal by Baysari. It's been a very tight match as we expected, but I wouldn't be surprised, Wayne, to see this match open up in the second half.
I think that it most likely will open up, David. Both sides are short of fatigue probably halfway through the second half. Neither side has thrown the ball around as such as yet, and I'm certain the game will open up well into the second half.
Oh, that's a magnificent take from Marnie on the fingertips. Pretty solid tackle coming in from the second row forward, Simon Ward. Saman. Coming into dummy half is Baysari. That's Donnelly. Stepping run by the second rower, wrapped up by Munro and also by Grosvenor and driven back. He got the pass away. That's House. With the covers there in the form of the captain, Matthew Fuller. Gee, this is determined defence. That's another big hit from Munro. There's the long kick downfield by Baysari over the head of Russell Wire. He will field it just 5 metres out from his own goal line and takes on the defence. Took it up to about a metre short of the quarter. Wouldn't be too many bigger fullbacks at schoolboy football than this fella.
No, and he's got all of the skills too.
Campbelltown back on their own quarter, and there's a knock on from Warner. Much good pressure on his side again. They've weathered the storm so far in the last 5 or 10 minutes from Parramatta. They've got 4 minutes to hold out before they go to that well-earned rest at half-time.
This could be a bit tougher assignment in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, there's Donnelly peeling off from the back of the scrum. Tried to unload the pass to Baysari. Warren, Fitzgerald. Well, there's the kick again from Union into the in-goal. The chase is on, but Russell Wire is over there again to field it inside his own goal line. And play will be restarted with the goal line dropout.
Yes, I'm not sure if the kick was the best tactic here. You can see the winger had stayed back expecting a kick. He was able to get back and help Wild in his pursuit of the ball, but Wild was first one there and tidied it up himself.
So it's Munro with the goal line dropout. Donnelly not favoured with the bounce. Finally picks it up. Gets up the head of steam, but he's taken around the legs by Warner, over the top by Greg Keenan. And there also was McRae. Baysari trying to break the first line. This young Warner's got through some defence. No one marking Baysari. He took full advantage of it again. And away he goes again.
Yeah, so just there's some good individual players here. They're playing like individuals, Parramatta Marist, but I've just got the feeling that they're brewing up to something.
There goes Donnelly trying to score from dummy half. The referee, Ward, rules against him. It'll be worth having a look at again, Brian Donnelly.
Well, he's done everything right here, Donnelly. He gets up to play the ball. He has got a marker. Played the ball forward, but he's picked it up in the ruck. It didn't clear himself and the player who was marking him, and it's a good decision by Chris Ward.
So from the ensuing penalty, play outside that danger area, the Campbelltown quarter line. McRae bumping it upfield, driven back and sideways by Morchard and also by Shan. Warner, Fuller through the dummy. Chris Warren in there with a good bit of defence for Parramatta. Solid stuff. Warner for Finicky Faloo. Ooh, there's the knock on. Has the referee picked it up? Yes, he has. Well, we certainly can't fault the referee, Wayne Pearce. That wasn't an easy one to pick up because he was on the other side of that ruck.
He was obscured, but he certainly did an excellent piece of refereeing there. But I think fatigue is starting to set in this last 5 minutes. There's been probably more errors in the last 5 minutes than there has in the whole first half.
And a few holes starting to appear also, Wayne.
There are on the edges of the rucks, and around the rucks themselves there's been a little bit of sloppy marker play, and they're making yardage through there as well.
Well, the penalty, well, this could be a vital one, just 2 minutes before half-time. And Matthew Fuller, the captain of the Campbelltown side, not impressed. So Baysari looks for his captain for advice, Chris Warren, and then finally Baysari kicks for touch. Let's see what Parramatta can pull out before half-time. Saman takes the first tackle. Warren. Baysari. Well, there's the switch of play. Will Red. There goes Fitzgerald inside the quarter into the final minute. Unan runs from dummy half. Got it away from Matthew Trout, 10 metres short of the goal line. Donnelly tries to go on his own. And that's the last play of this first half that's seen just 1 point. It was a drop goal by David Baysari that broke the deadlock. So as the players go to half-time in this first quarter-final of the Commonwealth Bank Cup at the Parramatta Stadium, it's Parramatta Marist High leading St Gregory's by 1 point to 0. Second half coming up the other side of the break.